and listeners across the globe. Thank you for tuning in to another live segment with the You Will Make It TV family, where we share inspirational quotes, divine messages, and insightful topics weekly. We said we were coming back with part two with the topic that we streamed earlier titled The Slow Death of Religion. I'm still building on that topic actually. So you can feel free. That's the whole reason for you to hit that subscribe bell, hit that like button, and make sure you come back and tune in when we go live with part two on that topic. But this topic is a little bit different. It's considered a reaction and commentary video. Uh, just my thoughts, here in secret about things that are really changing the world every day. From negative things to positive things, and then when we look at people's stories. And see, it's a whole reason I say that. I knew I came off like that in the beginning, like, hey, why don't we do stories? And I was talking to the news, the media, radio stations, anybody. When you cover people's stories, what really is your intent? And it's time we start asking these questions. The intent of sharing a story used to be just getting the story out there because it deserves coverage. We understand stuff like that. But then again, when you see so many attacks back to back to back, from restaurants to schools to banks to anything these days, and they back to back to back the way it has been all 2025, we're just talking about patterns again. You can clearly notice them. It starts to look a little weird. Like, okay, are people now liking drama just so they can? Because let me remind people of something. It's not channels like mine that barely get views and likes that we have to worry about, really. I know it sounds crazy to say it like that, but it's true. And I'm not saying the channels that do, or the news stations and stuff that do, that something is wrong with them, but it's like they do get paid, monetized views every time some place or some people have a misfortune. They're straight there, seem like suddenly ready to cover it, they know every detail. It's crazy. I'm not trying to be in a competition of that with people. Like, oh, and then they already fact checking everything. And that's a warning to everybody. That's not hitting. Trump has already cut budgets to certain news stations and media stations for those that have not caught up with what's going on in the world right now. Let's just start with the United States. There have been whole news stations and podcasts, different stuff that literally have been either banned, shut down, or had funding cuts. Even mainstream news media companies. Like, I don't know, that part I do need to look further into. Like, hey, how are the people standing back up to that? Or are they saying anything? They just taking these budget cuts and treading along. Like, they not looking into, hey, why did this happen to me? Or why am I being sought over? Because the fact check, what's they call fact check? We've done a topic about this already. When it comes to the misinformation in the millennial times, like just misinformation and what it means to go do credible source checks and stuff like this. Because other than that, how would you have every detail and information about some crazy stuff that just happened? You jump straight on there and you already got all the information. I can understand that about the news or somebody. It's just crazy. Like, it's not even worth tuning in to every, like, for example, when P. Diddy first went to jail, you had every news, every podcast, every radio station was talking about this. Now, what they were talking about might have differed from platform to platform. More were advocating for victims. Others were advocating about this and that. You know what I'm saying? Others just made it an opportunity to make views and monies off of what the celebrities were going through. We're not stupid. Everybody that get views and ratings and channels, yeah, that ain't never stopped through all of these. What's the word I'm looking for? Mass casualties and random issues lately, and just in 2025 alone, literally. Look at who made me going to go talk about it. Okay. Just make sure, however you're talking about it, you're coming correct, because we are looking at that. Every time a misfortune happens, what I'm reminding the world is another news station is making money. It is what it is. It's a sad reality, but it's the truth. Every time somebody go through something, because people was wondering, oh, how is that possible? Okay, As soon as somebody go through something that seems like they always make sure it's devastating. They always make sure it's enough to make people turn their heads and say, oh, let me click on this. They're going to make sure the story is bad enough that it grabs the people's attention. But what is it supposed to grab the people's attention about? To get a negative reaction out of them or what? These are people's real lives here on the line when you're doing these reporting stories, period. I don't care if it's mainstream or underground. If you're going to call out what you feel like is wrong, make sure your intent is clear. But people be ready. Oh, well, you ain't going to talk about your story. I'll go talk about it. See, a lot of these stories that come out, the victims, they hadn't even got to speak yet. You got the streets talking before the victims get to. I'm sick of seeing it. How you got more information than the damn victim themselves? Yeah, that's what I wanted to know. And you're getting paid off the information that you claim you got. And you're getting monetized and paying your bills off of talking about somebody else's misfortune. Oh, Crown Publishing content or You Will Make It TV will never be known to have made it in life off of that, right? And it kind of make you feel what Trump did. I'm like, well, I thought Trump was kind of crazy to shut down all these media stations and stuff, but really he got a point, depending on, because they were saying he just shutting down the ones that are talking about him. I mean, which does seem crazy. If you're the president, people going to talk about you. They're going to have opinions. They're going to have political opinions. They're going to, every time you make a move, they make it a move with what they saying next. You cannot expect to get in these positions where people, I'm sorry, any president ever been a president in this country, there's news about what they do. There's reporters and stuff. What's the difference of today? The new reporters are social media, are platforms just like these. And then you're seeing them being the most attacked people. Let's just be real about it. If they're not being attacked right behind the scenes, suddenly something's random in their community or randomly close to them is being attacked. Like, come on, bro. It's just weird. Because for those that don't know, a whole nother church, there was another mass shooting at a church today. A church of all places. America's lack of emotional intelligence is really starting to show. Because that's just what happens. You can have a family full of good people, and them few two people that chose to be idiots can make the whole family look like what? Horseshit. It's the same thing with the country then. We're supposed to be a family. How you united, but you only want certain parts of your country to take the fall for a main issue that's a whole country issue. That's what I don't understand. You know what I mean? You want certain people to carry the burden. It's spiritual and physical. We should look at it. And I didn't mention races. I didn't mention ages, but the age part is crazy too. Like with some of these mass shootings lately, why back to back to back? It's always some young person, 25 and younger. Now, I know some of the incidents out here when they find the shooters and stuff, it could be some older person. But most of these stories, it do seem like the actual attackers are getting younger. And yeah, America should have a problem with it. What's going on here? It's like, if I'm going to come on here, we got to talk real. Woo, boy. As this topic is supposed to be about housing and budget cuts, it's like, before I can even get into that, I'm hearing about another mass shooting at a church. And yes, some lost their lives. The same narrative. Some lost their lives. Some are just injured. It's awful. Imagine just getting up to go to church and you don't come back home. At least that's a good place, I guess, to lose your life. It's so stupid. At least you die in the sight of God, in the act of trying to seek God and all of that. So as it shows us, it doesn't matter where you are. What's a safe place? They got places they call safe place for victims. Them places ain't even safe no more. What you mean? Because as soon as one person got a little help, you still got a group of people somewhere mad at the organization for helping that person. That needs to stop in America. Or has it gotten too far, so far gone, don't nobody know what's going on no more. It's awful. where places and people have to be targeted and attacked for being a place of help for other people. I'm disappointed in that news. It's not the first like church attack, is it? Because, you know, church, that's a place kids go, elderly people, all ages. Then again, I've learned not to speak so soon about stuff, especially when it comes down to like you had visions, you had dreams, you had warning signs. And me, I'm nobody. I'm nobody in a great, powerful position, really, outside of what I can do when I bow my head and pray. Like I said on that quote earlier, some of the quietest prayers have the loudest effects. You don't have to say nothing. You don't have to say your prayer out loud. You don't have to say after you see the results from them. That's the real thing about prayer. Some things, the results be so clear, a person will say it out loud themselves. I know somebody had to be praying. Yeah, they'll say that themselves. So you saw warnings, you saw dreams, you saw visions, and all these years people just silence you. Do people know what they feel like? Okay, because people swear, I have to speak on this. People swear you knowing the future is the answer. Let me preach to a few people today on You Will Make It TV. Sometimes you can maybe see future events too. God ain't just out here pouring out the whole future to everybody. What are y'all trying to make him look like? Sometimes you see that because it was for you to stand up and say something or do something so that whatever you saw didn't even have to come to pass. But you got those that want to hate and oh, well, she took heed to her warning, so I want to hate on her for that. Think about what you really hating on people for. Actually, those that are taking heed to warnings, if nobody told you today, You Will Make It TV told you, you're doing the best thing you can do. Because everybody not out for your better good today. They're just not. Wherever they can benefit, make a few dollars off your misfortune, trust me, they in line to do it. But then again, it shows something else, like how bad are people struggling? Well, what are we here to talk about today? Housing budget cuts, same old, same old, same old. What did you think? What did you think when things start getting cut and people start struggling even worse than what they were doing? What did you think? We already had something called the whole low class. We already had a whole category called poverty before these cuts. You expected everybody to be on their best behavior after all of these cuts. I'm not understanding what's going on in the country. And no, I'm not crazy. It's okay to have emotions about the state of the world around you. I don't know what's wrong with people tonight here. Because them just adding more antagonization and negativity into the atmosphere is not helping either. It's just crazy to blame a whole country problem on one little small group sector of people. When that small group of sector of people ain't never had no damn money. They ain't never had no connections and big pools. Hell, even if they tried to get close to them, they were rejected. So how is them? You know? Come on, bro. Like, to me, they should be deeply, deeply, deeply investigating these people that's called in when they tell us on the news, oh, we found the shooter. Oh, we found the person. We found who it was. And that's all we hear. No, you need to do a very thorough investigation on those. Like, because for us to just keep thinking these are random shooters going out doing stuff is crazy. Obviously, they all had the same common agenda. They coming from somewhere. They being sent from somewhere. You want us to believe, oh, they were all just mental health nuts. It's just weird, bro. They were all mental health nuts who just woke up one morning and decided they're going to go do that to a whole church or to a whole school or to a whole grocery store. And this has been back to back to back in 2025. What are people going to do? Just keep going out there doing it? Since when did that make a change? Now, I'm not saying I have all the solutions. But that's crazy to just go out there and hurt the innocent when you know you damn guilty. Or you need some help. It's help out there. Like mental health help. The hell? If you waking up just thinking to go do a mass violence to somebody, yeah, you need mental help. But still, somehow these get overlooked. And the people just trying to quietly live their life, you shining the light on them saying they need to go into mental health. People that ain't never owned a gun in their life. If they have, maybe one or two. It's just stupid. So, prayers and condolences to the lives that were lost in that church shooting today. There are people out here that are still prayer warriors. That's exactly why some people are running from faith right now. Because you want to mix up the evil in places that evil had never been known to hang around. Evil done got quite comfortable and bold, hasn't it? Now, condolences to those families. And it's just like, what are churches supposed to think moving forward? Just like the schools and every other place. They just keep trying to run business, keep trying to carry on as normal. Trust me, I know the feeling. You want to keep, but something's supposed to be wrong with you for continuing to move on as normal, or just try to live your life the best you can after tragedies. But sometimes I look back at some of the churches, schools, other settings that have had these tragic traumas and violences happen there, and they continue to move on as normal, and nobody calls them crazy. Because there's nothing crazy about trying to move on with the pieces that you have left after traumatic events. That has never been crazy. That's a whole example of victim shaming and shift blaming, whatever they call it. Since when is a person crazy for continuing to move forward after trauma, bro? The schools continue to do it. The banks continue to do it. These banks done been hacked over and over again. All kind of breaches. Every system out here. And what do? They continue to in business as normal, like nothing ever happened. But see, when we as regular citizens do that, we're supposed to need a mental health check. It's just weird. No, y'all like, well, it's too much money involved. We're a system. It's understandable why we keep moving forward. Who are you? Well, then you reintroduce yourself. What was wrong with me moving forward after traumatic events? Oh, man, what a time to be alive. Because nobody ever said you're going to be the same after something like whole trauma. When you break something, it'll never be effing same, including a heart. It'll never be the same. You can piece it back together, but you always going to see that scar where it was torn, where it was broken. That's the same thing with a system. That's the same thing with anything else out here. How dare they set everything into classes? And see, it's bigger than me, though. You set everything into lower class, high class, this status, that status, this system, that system. And I just didn't see how more and more cuts is like helping, unless we are gearing up and getting ready for other things. So what are we talking about when we talk about more Section 8 cut? Oh, what inspired this topic? Well, I saw more stories circulating of supposedly people sharing their stories that their quote unquote Section 8 vouchers just ended, or just abruptly ended. Some of these people saying they being forced. I don't know, like they didn't see it coming. They didn't see the cuts coming. They're being forced. Some of these people are talking about they was forced into eviction and different stuff like this, right? And this is in several different states across the country. So we're not talking about no particular community, state, or none of that. People want the satisfaction of finding a clue or a hint that you're talking about them. And I promise nobody's that significant in this big world. Literally, that's something I teach at You Will Make It TV. Like, yeah, you can have a better job, more money, better husband, any of that. It's still about remaining humble at the end of the day. You know, if you already had a bunch of money, you already humble, it wouldn't a cut or something wouldn't bother you, would it? Because you already were aware that you could be in the same situation as the next person anytime. You stay expected and ready for something like that. Not that anybody wants that, right? But I was always humble. I ain't never hated on a person who had a Section 8 voucher, but I can admit I've never had one in my life. They look at stupid things face. But back to what I was saying, they be looking for details. Yeah, I said the devil in the details. That's why when you search the details of my life, you ain't never saw me hating on nobody because they get assistance from somehow. It's just all the recordings they probably have of me. Why you don't have me never talking about that? Me hating on somebody who's getting assistance. You've never heard of it. Not from Arthur Tedashiri. I'm not that way. They ain't got a phone call or report I've ever made in my life on somebody just because they get assistance. And I don't think they should. But see, this is the type of stuff that was going on before these cuts was even happening. A lot of exhibition of the non-humility that's displayed in such a free country. Everybody's so focused on the next person's freedom, they've forgotten about their own. If that ain't the truth, bro. And for some reason, some of our freedoms out here apparently suddenly affect people emotionally. And it's showing through these mass attacks and random shootings and stupid stuff. So you're in the land of the free, but you can't stand to see your sister, brother, or neighbor free. Something is very wrong on a spiritual level. Because on a spirit, I know people don't want to make it about spirituality, but see, those souls that bled, died, and fought for us to have the rights and stuff we have today, oh, they're still very well here and alive. It's crazy. Like, people, oh, they buried. That was the 1800s and 1700s. We don't have to talk about that no more. Oh, you thought they was dead? You think they can't see the earth today? You think they don't see their loved ones, some of us beloved on the earth today? It's really crazy. I never thought I would be talking like this, but I sense that, yeah, they're aware. They're aware somewhere, even if they not walking this dimension in this plane with us at this current time. It's disrespectful for people to go fight, blood, sweat, and tears. They go for parents, anybody, ancestors, old soldiers, veterans. It's disrespectful for them to go out there and fight for a cause, and then people just treat the cause like it's I don't know. It's weird. This is my opinion, though. I'm not saying they went out there and bled, sweat, and fought so we could have rights to Section 8, but look, it was out here. And what we noticed that they don't want to talk about is it was almost like you wanted it to be some type of exchange. Like, well, if you get Section 8, because there's a lot of opinions that surround this. I'm here to talk about the facts and some of the things I've heard from people who personally had it. They would do these home checks, like, I guess, house meetings. Because like I said, I've never had Section 8. But they do house meetings. I probably worked with programs that was a little similar, but it wasn't nothing near Section 8. Section 8 is like more long-term, based off your income rent type of arrangement. So anyways, they do these, I guess, case meetings, home checks and stuff. And I heard back in the day when Section 8 first started, if they seen any evidence of a man in a woman's house and she wasn't married to him, she would lose her whole voucher. Now, for some of y'all that know that's true, all you can do is let us know in the comments, you know. But I heard that it used to be like that. It was almost like you wanted people to exchange their right to a family life just to have housing or some shit. It's weird. And they know that it was like this when Section 8 first came out. You really didn't want to see mothers and fathers together. Where's the father? Oh, he's in jail, or we ain't together. That, as long as they hear that, then you can get some assistance. But don't let y'all be together and struggling. Now they got a bunch of questions for him. Like, well, why you can't provide? I mean, I see what the man been going through too. It's weird. When they find some kind of side cut way to survive, you're going to investigate that to the T. Make sure there's no every I is dotted and every T is crossed, just so he can provide for his family. Because, you know, the more men you have doing that, the less of the actual civil servants have to step up and protect people's whole families that they didn't even create. Yeah, what I see Trump doing, or however he's being used by God right now, more people, will be forced to take accountability. Like, hey, why you just got that family over there and you ain't providing? And how long has it been going on? Because people have been getting away with that. If you're going to talk about where the fall happens, I don't know. Then it comes into the conversation of gold digging and who shouldn't give money for what. Man, since when is this? This has never been heard of, bro. Like, in the past, when people had family units here in America, most men cared about whether their kids and wives and who, even if they had kids in multiple households. Back then, maybe it was just because the economy was a little better and things were a little cheaper. They could provide for multiple households. That's where men felt more free. You had them try to bring that old way into a new economy and really thought that was going to work. Like, I ain't gonna lie to people. I feel like when I did that one topic about, this is exactly how I worded it. I said polygamy to me in any country that's going on where it ain't even legal to have multiple wives is new age pimping. Pretty much. Cause ask them women what try to happen if they try to get away from a man and she's one of his group of women. Ask them what happens. What they gonna say? Nothing. I just be free. Okay. If we want to talk about it's a housing crisis, ain't no housing crisis when there's no family breakage crisis, no home wrecking crisis. Yeah, when social media came out, you saw homes wrecked left and right. Be honest, ladies and gentlemen. These are what statistics show. Because now everybody to feel like they person being loyal to them, they got to go check their social media. They got to go check their inbox. They got to go check their text messages. What's funny? You didn't know if your man was cheating back in the day, really, because all you had is a house phone. Before beepers came out, you might have a house phone, some mail. If the man or woman didn't leave a sign that they being around, you probably 9 times out of 10 didn't even know. Not saying it was right, but now it's so much things that tools people can check just to see what somebody they supposed to be providing for is doing. Literally, like social media, they it's called a phone. And yeah, social media has broke up homes a long time ago. Y'all like, what they got to do with housing? A lot. I'm wondering why more people ain't talking about it. A lot. Most people with higher positions today do have a social media. Let's not pretend like we don't see that. And what does that mean? They got a right to have a social media, but social media also is like instant connection with other people. Now you can easily just inbox somebody. Now, it ain't promised they gonna respond or not, but that's the scary part. Anybody could be inboxing anybody, starting a group chat with anybody these days. And you wondering why homes are being wrecked. Come on, bro. Homes and families. Because once again, we all know by now, I'm one of those, I'm not finna show everything or how I'm finna move forward, but I do see my future probably less of social media unless I have a manager managing my account. See, people just teach you how to move forward. That's it. They ain't ruin nothing. But if I'm gonna be on it, it'll be for straight business purposes, and it'll be handled by actual legal. I'm gonna make sure I have business attorneys, legal managers and assistants that I'm working with that help me to manage the accounts, and that's it. And they gonna have to go through thorough background checks. Like, people just be expecting you to trust them with your whole livelihood, like your whole business, your whole bank accounts and financial. They want to be over that shit. But then when you really look at, okay, so what makes you should be over it? Over that whole person whose stuff it is. What makes you should be over it? It's not a lot they can show, but that they like money, that they're addicted to money, that they feel like they should be close to everybody else's money. That's it. But I do see more and more people slowly waking up to that. Like, literally, they can go back and think about the days before they was using social media, and they feel like their life was just way more containable, way more lively. It was less problems in their life. And they go for relationships too. I know everybody's showcasing they happy and bro, statistics wouldn't show that divorce rates have increased if that's true. That means, and it's just crazy. It must be crazy to be like a civil servant just to see people all out here showing whatever, but they really know their business. You know, it's just crazy, bro. Like, it take a lot of integrity to work a job like that. And I'm not even finna get into that, because even with that, they should be upholding integrity. You shouldn't be going home talking to your family members and stuff about a case you working on. Don't tell me how I know that. God shows me things. How else do shit get so messy out here on the streets with people business on social media? Doctors and people with certain jobs shouldn't even be going home talking about what they discovered and what they found. I know with certain jobs they shouldn't. You know, if you can't handle working that job without talking about it at home, they mad at us podcasters because we can talk about what we do. Hey, there was another story on the news. Hey, there's more this and that happening. You not wrong to talk about what you do as a podcaster. That's not no civil servant job. Like, that ain't no high. Come on, man. That's like major news networks going to share their stories with all, like, they whole families know the story before they even post it on the news. It's too much of that going on. But we're wondering, how is a homeless crisis pandemic happening all across the country? It's too much mess. That's why. All those that used to say what happened in the home, staying home. At first, I didn't agree with that. That's another one of those old time quotes. I was like, why did they ever start telling people that? Or why were the older generations more lived by that? What happened in the home, staying home. Now they don't seem so crazy. I thought it was because they're trying to bury secrets and stuff like that. No, it actually was less drama in the world when people's business, just who you need to know, who you dealing with your business with, know your business, and that's it. Now everybody just go talk about their home business. Next thing they know, what they said done turned into 20 other narratives. I know I'm not the only one, but it was just more dangerous. They need to let the millennials speak. Talking about anybody know what it's like to survive a rumor. No, they don't. The kind of rumors they spread about people today, no, they don't. You see, a rumor is come from a deep-rooted place of a person's heart. It got to, like, because it could be anything. It's just whatever they want to be spread about a person. But enough of that. We did a segment. Feel free to tune in to previously recorded segments where we titled it The Age of Misinformation. You already knew the age of misinformation was going to exist during the age of truth being revealed. And those with the misinformation want to feel so, I don't know how to describe this, but get out of the way. It's the age of truth. It's called that for a reason. You've had your time, your reign with misinformation. With, what's the other word? Uncredible sources. And then, okay, we live in a time of the truth, bro. We have whole Chat GPT, Google, all kind of stuff where people can find it on their own if they really want it. It's just crazy, bro. But back to the whole Section 8 topic. It says, already these are some of the effects that people have been feeling since these budget cuts to Section 8. Fewer vouchers. HUD confirmed that reduced spending for the Housing Choice Voucher Program in 2025 will result in fewer new vouchers being issued. So this might also produce longer wait lists. They're already warning you. It's September 2025. Do not wait till 2026 and, oh, what's going on? Because y'all head's so busy and indulging everything else. Okay. Because Section 8 is not just things single mother use. Disabled people, lots of other people who have always taken advantage. Just ask some successful people today. They might not be on Section 8 now, but it might have been a stepping stool for them while their kids were little. That's what I'm tired of. People suddenly forgetting where they came from. It's like an old statement, but it needs to be said again today. Nobody just woke up and their life changed overnight. And if it did, it was probably some other stuff going on. Like, what you mean you got a deal overnight? Miracles are real. And we have been finding out more those shortcut ways that people take. And it's always at the expense of others. So it's just stupid. Anyways, we were talking about longer wait lists. So there are already a lot of counties, communities that are seeing longer wait lists. They're already admitting it. Local housing authorities are experiencing longer wait lists for applicants. Now, depending on where you're from or where your state is, that's been going on. Like, if it's a bigger state, I guess that makes sense. Before these cuts were happening, I didn't want to call no state names, but Texas, y'all are one of them. Them wait list people used to be known to be on it for 3 to 5 years before they get a call back. And by the time you call them back, hell, they done fixed their situation. You done called talking about, do you need housing? It's plenty of time. Maybe sometimes they did write me back. But guess what? I done already moved to another situation. Because why would I wait 3 to 5 years on a wait list for my help to come? And I'm using me for an example because I don't want anybody else to depend on that stuff in that way. You get on a wait list, you get on a wait list. But see, being on a wait list doesn't feed your tummy every day, and you still have to do something. And it's crazy. I wonder how many other people had the same story. Like by the time they got back around to you, that's gonna be what they ask. Like, hey, do you still need housing? That's what the letter gonna say. And most times that I've been on them lists, by the time they send me a letter, I bet you I can prove it too. You had already found you your own unit to stay in, literally, without housing. It's crazy. Even if it was some short-term rental program that helped you, it wasn't Section 8. Because what I look like waiting 3 to 5 years on the list just to get a call back. But anyways, we're going to see it more worse this time because, see, and I'm just letting the people know in an informative way, it's not because I don't know what the reason was back in the day. Like I said, it could have been because it's just a bigger state and more people were applying back then. But I do know it was taking 3 to 5 years. They'll tell you that, oh, it could be a year or two before we get back to you. That's why some of these states I went to that I heard people was getting called back in 6 months, 3 months and stuff. I was actually really shocked because I had never heard of that in my life. But that's when I learned, okay, of course, if it's a smaller town or a smaller area, you can't go to no big, huge city and just think you finna get lucky and get pulled off the Section 8 list. When before you moved there was people already on it. Plus, these programs sometimes have their own qualifications. What do these qualifications look like? Number one, you might have to be a resident of that place for a year or two before you even can apply. You don't just come there, you stand at a shelter, you've been there 2 weeks, you get on the Section 8 list. Even if you own it, they're not finna, you're not a priority. They finna call them people that was on it before you, even if you in the shelter. You know why? Because you ain't even been a resident of the state a year. It's just things people are not informed about before they judge and speak on the people that have Section 8. Because I'm finna get to the ones that abused it too, that messed it up for everybody. And you're not going to say I was one of them because I ain't never been on it. I never got pulled. I told you I always be on the wait list. And by the time they called me back, I got a new phone number, new email. I guess they would tell themselves, well, she didn't respond. Why would you think a person got the same phone number, email, and address 3 years later and they got on your wait list 3 years ago? That's just something I never understood. How else could you go about finding that person to see if they still need them? They came up on the list. Well, you can't find them if you got them bouncing around everywhere. They were on the list for a reason, right? They went and applied. They said, oh, I look at this list. I check. I qualify for every check box on here. I think they do have an average medium income that you have to be making. If you're making more than that, that's another reason you don't qualify. Period. What else did it say? Reduce administrative funds. I think we already talked about that. But yeah, local agencies are receiving less money for administrative costs, leading to, I got this straight from Wikipedia. I don't know. Y'all go read your own wherever you want to read it. But this makes sense. Wikipedia is good enough for me. Leading to decreased support services and tighter recertification policies. Emergency vouchers are ending. That's big news. For those that don't know what's an emergency voucher, I think those were specifically for like disabled, like emergency situations. I think they used to call it like refugee, and I'm not trying to be funny, but it's crazy. I know some of those emergency services used to go to those people. It's a place called Catholic Charities. And they've been always known to kind of more be, and shout out to Catholic Charities. I have nothing bad to say about them, but sometimes these are the type of organizations that these type of funds were being dispersed to. You know what I mean? So I have nothing but good things to say about Catholic Charities. And though I never got like housing or nothing for them, I know they help people that's trying to go to work. And they have a very good program out of the state of Texas, but I've seen their presence in other states as well, and they pretty much have the same mission. Like, they're trying to keep the community out of poverty as much as possible. Poverty is just one step below low class. That's what I'm saying. They do all they can to help people get their GEDs, get their high school diplomas. They have work programs, like I said. For those that want to hear me elaborate, one of the programs, shout out to them once again for the third time, was called, I don't know if they still have it, it's called the pilot program. I'm not one of those was trying to live off of assistance forever. If anything, I have X so many amounts of proof that I was actually trying to start similar things, and they swear you copying them. Bro, what do you mean copying you? Anytime you have another organization pop up out the water to try to provide ride services to people just to go to work, that's not copying you. That's adding to the beneficial parts of the world. Like, they hurry up and go run places. Oh, don't get that person funding. Don't help that person. Woo, woo, woo. No, how about you let that person get out there a little bit and see how much better their program could have been. Not better, or how much better communities could have been had that person got to, because sometimes starting a project, a community project, people don't even have to know who's behind it. That actually helps low poverty people. That's not some social media project. And I've learned to keep it off of places like that, because people will not support you, but go take your program somewhere and say, oh, hey, I started a nonprofit. And the whole time they got it from a young lady that was trying to defeat the odds in her life herself. They just don't want to look at themselves yet. You claim that that's what you're trying to do, but you getting 80% of your ideas from somebody in a low poverty condition. That's crazy. And then just accuse them of wanting to live off of it. Clearly that could have changed their life and helped others. Everything God brings to me to start could change my life and others. That's what's crazy about it. It's never just, maybe they would have been more satisfied if the stuff I was trying to start was just going to be beneficial for me. Then they wouldn't have bothered me at all. But see, that, I'm just using myself for an example. That shows you didn't want a person helping themselves plus other people. It's just too miraculous. Like, they feel like, no, the proper steps is to help yourself first, honey. And then you get so established that now you can help people. I mean, no, I know that ain't true, because God already showed me there's many ways you can start something that's actually, when I say beneficial to you, yeah, it would probably change your status a little bit, because now you are helping people. And people, I don't know if people knew that. Helping people don't take from you like everybody wants you to believe. Helping people is going to bless you, because God and the universe is watching you. And they're seeing the level of intent of your heart that it's coming from. That's why they try to, man, it's just crazy. Let me finish reading from this list, y'all. But that is crazy that emergency vouchers are, it says funding for emergency vouchers are in it. Because who was first in line for those emergency vouchers? Well, I thought of one person's already. One groups of people was always the refugees, because you don't know what situations them and their kids are coming out of from other countries. And America's always been known. I'm sure they have lots of documents and stuff to prove that, hey, we have helped a lot of people get on their feet and get established from whole other countries, bro. Literally, those are the ones that used to receive the emergency vouchers. Hey, we just came here off a plane. All we got is 4 bags. We leave in a refugee situation, you know, and that's commendable. I'm not saying I'm against it, but now when people from your own place, they can't get qualified for emergency services. Why? And they have proof of emergencies all up and down in their life, and even people to help them try to report it. Years ago, probably not now, but years ago, if you were in an extreme emergency situation, you didn't, that don't mean you always got people readily to help you every time you in an emergency. They'd be like, well, where's your family? Where's your friends? That's like saying you should just be dependent on them. Literally, I'm calling a system out for that. That's like saying you should be only dependent on them. How are you teaching people to be? Oh, and then when they're no longer dependent on them, something's wrong with them. They deserve, man, come on, bro. Oh, they're being more distant. They're more isolated. Something wrong with them. It said these separate emergency vouchers, or EHV program, was created by the American Rescue Plan. What did I just say? It says American Rescue Plan, but most of the people that was getting those vouchers were whole, like, refugees or people that needed help like that. We do understand anybody would need help if you coming from a new country, you don't know the language, you don't have anything. So yeah, you might consider that an emergency. But what other country was just taking people in like that, blessing them from the toe to the head, soon as they come through the door, to make sure they're okay and they can have freedoms like everybody else? What other country do you know do that? And it says an assistance for current EHV holders is set to end. Oh, I didn't see this part. On December 31st, 2026. Oh, okay. I thought it said 2025. Okay, so I guess the people who do receive EHVs, what funding for? Okay, the new vouchers stopped in 2023. So I didn't even know that, but it says the assistance that the ones that are now getting they only got a year, and that's why it pays to pay attention to that type of information. So you're not one of the people on TikTok saying, hey, I just suddenly got put on my house, I didn't know this was happening. Boo, boo. They've been talking about the EBT cuts and different stuff for a minute now. Like, what you mean you didn't know? When you got a letter in the mail or a notice on the door or a certain notification to your email that your funding was going to be cut. Now, we had good caseworkers from what I'm paying attention to, because I'm saying back in the day we did, because like really a lot of the programs that we were working with back then, they would tell us, hey, what I'm trying to say is they prepared us in a way to think this way. Like, you don't depend on or just make a cushion out of quote unquote assistance. Now, you would think anybody understand it, but when you're young, you got to kind of help the young people understand, like, look, this is just a temporary assistance or something. Like, your mind should not be like, oh, I made it in life because you're making it with assistance from some government program. No, you have not made it in life yet. But when you got proof, okay, well, when you was on this program in 2023, what did you accomplish? That's great when you can say, hey, I went to school, I got my CDL license, I got my forklift license. I picked up 2-3 new certifications. Those people that picked up trainings and skills like that along the way, really, I wouldn't say they have no burdens to really think about, unless it's student loan debt or they just couldn't find a job, which it was a lot of stories like that too lately. In the past 5 years, people graduating whole college but can't find a job. Make that make sense? Maybe because in the workforce, they kind of want experienced people. They will hire new entry levels because they feel like they don't have to pay them as much as a more experienced candidate. But really, I don't think that makes sense either. Like, who have we been helping so much that your own graduates can barely find positions or opportunities and stuff like this afterwards? Because now you can't sit there and blame that person for trying to live off the system. Didn't they do something to elevate their life? They got a whole new credential to elevate their life, but instead they want to play a game where, no, we just going to frame the ones we don't want to see make it. This is You Will Make It TV, by the way. Feel free to hit the subscribe bell today, tomorrow, or if you already did. We appreciate you. Because if you don't tell yourself that, sometimes the system will have you looking like you're not only will they have you looking like you're not going to make it, they'll try to have you looking like you weren't trying to make it anywhere in between. Just because you go on the dates on, you go out for dates on the weekend, or go ahead, what you do in your leisure time, that's another thing. It's like people watching everybody. Who are they outside of work? Since when have people been exactly who they are in their cubicle at home? Since when have people been the same person that they are at their office desk, at their jobs at home? That's the point of home. You go there to relax. You go there to be yourself. But these idiots of today want to somehow collide who you are at home with what you do for work. No, that goes for you political guys or something. Yeah, you might care about, like I'm not that type of person. I don't care who a cop is when they go home, but I mean, I should care. But it's like, really, they have the right to be who they are when they go home. We should all just know the law well enough to know that you can be comfortable, you can be yourself at home without hurting other people and still go to work every day. It's stupid. What workplace allows drugs and some of the stuff we've been hearing some of these companies just been into behind the scenes? Really, I wasn't shocked, because we seen businesses and companies go through stuff during the pandemic. They weren't the same, bro. Every company started struggling. That's why they had to go apply for grants and ask for funding just to stay open. I'm sorry to the ones that thought business was just supposed to go back to normal after the pandemic, as if people did not struggle and lose a whole lot down to family members. Some people, I don't even know how this happened, but some people even got their kids took during the pandemic. They was already struggling. It was a pandemic, and y'all can't tell me I don't know what I'm talking about. I know. Let me not go there, but I know for sure about this. Like, they was using that whole time to go in people's homes. Oh, how they kids doing? How you think they're doing? It's a effing pandemic. People could barely go to work. The schools were closed. It just seems weird, bro. And then years later, you just cut everything that you actually. Maybe people should look at that too. Maybe all the extra funding we got during the pandemic took from the money we could have been getting help with today. I don't know what people don't see, but we don't want to wait till every cut is exhausted, because these places getting less funding is like a warning, a caution sign. But I was just saying, like, when people have warnings, dreams, foresee stuff, why don't people want to listen to them? It always goes this way. Even in the Bible, bro. They start knocking on Noah's door at the last minute. I'm talking about the last possible second. Not one of them people in the town that I read in the Bible, it could have been a beautiful thing. All the people help him build the ark, and then everybody saved at the end. That ain't how they want to do it. It's stupid. It's always, it's more of us tearing you down than the one man that's building. Then we wonder what's going on. It's so stupid. Thank you guys for tuning in to another live segment. We appreciate your support, and until next time.